All right, as we get into book clubs, you might find that you have trouble keeping up with your book. And there are going to be some times when maybe you're busy working on your schoolwork or you just want to sit and listen to the book. So if you choose to do that, I want to show you how to get your iPad set up for doing just that. Okay, so to get set up for listening to your book, you are going to go to your settings. From there, you're going to click on accessibility. Once you are there, you're going to click on speech. Okay, you're going to make sure that this little switch is flipped, speak selection. A speak button will appear when you select text. Speak screen, so swipe down with 2 fingers. This one is one that Miss Anderson and I were trying it out, and it didn't really work very well with our ebooks. So just a heads up, this may or may not work, but I'm going to go ahead and flip it just in case. And then I chose to have highlight content. So I flipped this, and then all of these great little options came up. So I chose to have it highlight words in blue. You can choose any color here. You can choose yellow. But as it's reading, those words will pop up so you can kind of keep track of where it's at. All right, so now let me show you how to do this one more time. So you're going to go to your settings. From settings, you're going to go to your general. Okay, so general over here on the left side. Click accessibility. Okay. Then you're going to select speech. You're going to make sure that this little switch is flipped for speak selection, for speak screen. Also, if you find that you want to speed it up a tiny bit, you can also make it to where it reads a little bit quicker.
Speak selection, read selected content.
Yeah, and then she'll give you a
Speak
demo.
selection, read selected content.
There we go. That's more comfortable. All right. And then if you want it to highlight as you're going so you can kind of keep track of where you're at, then I would go down here to highlight content. After you toggle that, then I want to be able to see where it's at. So select your color. All right. So now what does this look like in my book? So I'm just going to pop one of these up. This is one of our book club books, Insignificant Events in the Life of a Cactus. Okay, so the neat thing is that you can select text. So I'm going to select like a couple paragraphs maybe, or most of that whole page. And then up here at the top where it says copy, highlight, note, search, share, there's also the button that says speak. And that means it'll start reading it to me. Kind of cool. One note that I want you to know is that this is a really great strategy too. If you're following along, you're having it read the page, and then it stops at the end of a page, that's going to remind you to stop and jot. Okay, what are some big ideas that are going on right now? What's happening with my characters? What am I learning? What am I questioning? That's a great reminder to stop and jot, because that text can only be read up to the end of that page. So you highlight, you click speak up in this bar.
When I was little, a kid pointed at me on the playground and shouted. Her arms fell off, then ran away screaming in terror to his mom, who had to cuddle him on her lap and rub his head for like 10 minutes to get him to calm down. I think, up until then, I hadn't thought about the idea that my arms must have actually fallen off at some point in my life.
Okay, so you can pause and then it can go right back. And that was a little bit fast for my taste. So I'm going to go back, and I'm going to go back to general. I'm going to go back to accessibility and speech. And I'm going to slow her down.
Speak selection, read selected content.
Thank you so much. That's so much better, lady. Okay, so now let's select some text. And this is really a funny book. I read this one whenever I broke my arm, and it was good.
When I was little, a kid pointed at me on the playground and shouted. Her arms fell off, then ran away screaming in terror to his mom, who had to cuddle him on her lap and rub his head for like 10 minutes to get him to calm down. I think, up until then, I hadn't thought about the idea that my arms must have actually...
All right, so this should help you with getting your ebook set up for reading the text aloud. All right, let us know if you have any more questions, guys. Happy reading.